Allow, allow, allow. Loose gadgies. Don't know what that was. I need to come up with some better intros, don't I? So this week, there's all sorts going on, and we have a couple of good topics. Today's is all about proportional responses, isn't it, Mark? Proportional, because we've
Yeah,
been seeing this on the news a lot.
yeah. We
It's a word
discussed, but
that's chucked around a lot.
yeah, I find it. I suppose I'm going on the subject because I find it difficult. But it was just I saw a lot of interviews recently, especially by news people, really pushing hard. The people on sort of let's go, we'll just say Gaza and Israel, really pushing hard on the question of proportional responses, and that really killing these people to sort of define what it was. And I started playing with my own little example in my head, and then I was playing with it this morning. And I thought, what is proportional, and does it exist? So I started thinking about things like, and I don't make any apologies for sort of simplifying it when I play with my examples. So I have a Twix, Simon. This is my example. I have a Twix, and you ask for half. Yeah, what do you expect if you're getting half? You
Well, if it's a Twix,
yeah,
there's two biscuits in it, so you get
yeah.
one of the biscuits, right?
So you're getting one of the biscuits. So I give you one of the biscuits. You're happy. That's proportional, isn't it? That's yeah. That you're getting half of it. But I decide I'm going to give you half of one of those sticks. Now you might sort of raise your eyebrow, might you? And you're like, that's not exactly what I asked for in sort of proportion, is it? It's and then I started thinking like go back to when we were kids. Us Geordies, we use the word kets, don't we? And you might have said gizabit, yeah, gizabit. Now your expectations in terms of that Twix when you say gizabit, you don't really have any expectations of getting half, do you? When you say gizabit,
No, you're hoping that they might snap a bit off, and you'd you'd actually feel chuffed at that point if they snapped one of the biscuits in half and gave you half of that biscuit. 'Cause you went, I'll just give a bit, and went, ooh, I thought you might just give us a bite, and I've got half of this biscuit. That's brilliant.
exactly. So we didn't have any expectations there. So you're right. We'd snap a bit off. Those of us who like sharing, we might have offered a stick of the Twix, and then we've got the friends, and then we've got the Mickey taking friends. So the friends take a bit of a nibble off the end, don't they? And the friends that are not really friends, what are they doing?
Well, it's a it it's a measurement of ego almost, isn't it? It's like, oh, just I snap that bit off. There you go. That was mine.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't let anyone take a piece of your wham bar, would you?
Oh
Back in
no,
the day,
exactly.
and just
Remember
taking a
the
whole. You've ruined that.
the Wambos, yeah, and we both like a sausage roll. Could you imagine if
Oh yeah.
somebody took 2/3 of your sausage roll by taking a bite? You'd be flipping mad as a hatter, wouldn't you?
Well, this is sometimes why you might take a piece off, because then it's in your control, right? You say, well, I think this is proportional. There you go. Rather than them deciding what to take, you decide what to give, right?
Yeah.
Then you feel you've got that. That feels fair to you.
Yeah, so we then start to get a bit of a representation of what we're asking for versus what we get in the friends and proportional
Yeah.
and taking, and the second sort of I'm flowing into here the sort of the Gaza Israel issue at the end. But the second example is I've been watching on an afternoon. Have you ever seen the Great House Giveaway on Channel 4? It's like 4 till 5 on an afternoon. So the pretense of the program is there's a guy that used to be he was on Brookside. He was one of the characters in Brookside years ago. So they buy a house at auction, yeah, a rundown house, and they invite two people to do that house up. They don't know each other, and the program presenters give them a little budget. Let's say we're going to give them 20 grand to do this house up, and they get between 3 and 6 months to do the house up. Now, just so you're aware that at the end of this, they sell the house and whatever's made is divided equally, proportional, 50% each they get of whatever's made in the profit. What's really interesting...
So this is the motivator.
Yeah.
Spend that 20 grand well,
yeah.
then you'll get right.
So you get things like, they start looking for kitchens on Facebook Marketplace and all of that sort of stuff to try and save money, which I think is great. The issue comes, and the really, really contentious bit about this program is you got two people who really sort of are working their own industries, and they turn up at the house and do a bit of work when they can. Proportional. Right. So the major arguments are coming in this program because one of them feels like they're doing more. I'm turning up more than he is, or he is, she is. But at the end of the day, you get 50%. It doesn't matter how much effort you put in. And it just made, and what it helped me realize was that it's my perspective of how much effort they've put in. It might not be. So if you're a highly skilled electrician and you're saving us a fortune, you might think that's proportional because you're saving us a lot of money. I might only be a labourer, but I'm putting a lot of labour in, so I'm saving us a lot of money. So it's like my perception of proportional, isn't it?
And you could argue that, you're a professional electrician. You had all the gear already. It didn't take you long because you've done this a million times. So if you're looking at physical effort or what you bring to the table, how do you decide what someone's brought to the table? And the thing that gets me is that you're going to get half of this house at the end, so it's money you wouldn't have had.
Yeah, and it doesn't, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you feel about me being an electrician or a labourer. It's your idea of what you deem as fair and proportional. And I'm going to find it very difficult to shift you on that. Very, very difficult. Because it's personal to you. And if I turned up on a Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday and you only turned up on a Tuesday, you're going to think I'm a pretty bad person because I only turned up one day this week and you turned up 3. But the following week, I do 3 and you do 1, but you forget that, And so
but on those 3 days, though, I do 5 hours. You turn up on one day and you did 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Or vice versa. I did one day, but I was there from 8 in the morning. I didn't leave till 10 at night. You did 3 days of 3 hours.
What we're saying is there is no way of winning that proportional discussion. Yeah. You cannot win it.
There's too much like your personal perception in that. It's very subjective. Like how you value your time is different. Well, I had to leave the kids with blah. Well, I had to take 3 of my holidays off work. Oh, well, I had to. So how do you value it? How do you assess? How do you put them on a scale and go, right, well, yours is more?
Yeah, because it doesn't exist, because you would basically need a judge to decide, because now we've got too personally in depth in it. And
but this is why we have them, isn't it? In the law courts, because they're meant to be these impartial people that listen to both sides and find the truth in the middle.
Yeah.
Right?
So
supposedly,
right. So let's move on to the sort of Gaza Israel thing, and I'd like you to decide. Right, there's a grandmother. She's 85, and she's on one side. You can choose one side, or it doesn't really matter. Would you like to choose where she's from?
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this plays out.
Yeah. So in this example, let's, for argument's sake, the grandmother is 85 and she's from Israel. Yeah. And we're going to kill her, by the way. So we've decided, she's up for it. Whatever, we're coming across from Hamas, we're coming across from Gaza. We're going to kill her. Now, so we kill her. She's 85. Now we need to do a proportional strike, the opposite side. So now we need to we need to find a grandmother. She's 85. Yeah. So we found a grandmother. She's 85. Now I'm going to ask a little bit of a deeper question. How many kids has this grandmother got? and how many grandkids has she got in comparison to the first one, to understand how it affects their life, and is that proportionate? So it's now not just the fact that she's 85 and 85, it's now that sort of filter thing beneath the grandmother at 85. And therefore, we basically draw to the conclusion that we can't find a proportional example to kill on the opposite side, can we?
I mean, what if there's only a rich one on one side and a poor one on the other?
Yeah.
So does that matter? Does that mean, oh, well, this one was a homeowner, that one wasn't? This one used to work for a charity,
Yeah.
and now all of her contributions won't get done on. She used to give all this money away, so what things matter and what things don't? How do you define balance and proportion?
Well, you
I mean,
don't, because you look at one of the grandmothers, and the kids and the grandkids are very emotional about the situation, and they decide they want to react in a certain way. So now we've got a disproportional emotional reaction to the situation. So we're taking away the facts here. We're now bringing in an emotion, which makes it even more clouded, because who decides how I should feel about the situation? And I got back to, I eventually sort of twisted it back round to unless we can define what the Twix is and where half of the Twix is, I'm simplifying death with a Twix, which is, some might think, is pretty.
Well, yeah, you could say, do you want half me biscuit? What kind of biscuit is it?
Yeah. Now,
is it one?
I sort of got to the sort of Simon Sinek bit where you can clearly define something. So a biscuit or a Twix is pretty easily defined in terms of half, isn't it? And therefore we can clearly define that. But once you start, what's my life?
I just heard something.
Yeah. It's somebody bringing you a Twix.
Possibly.
Yeah. But yeah, so I got very passionate after watching a few interviews in terms of how these interviewers were forcing them to define what proportional attack was. It all sort of floated around the sort of hospital, and what is proportional and humanitarian aid and allowing and not allowing, and how they were, both sides, they were forcing them into an avenue of discussion that or decision making on proportional that they couldn't get to, because they'll just pick an exception out, don't they? What about this? What about that? What about this? What about the grandmother? What about our kids? And
she was a counsellor.
Yeah,
she was a counsellor. So now that council's gone without. Oh, she used to manage this business. Oh, now that shop's closed. Now that how do you assess what impact she had, what impact it has, and how much of that matters? And you can't truly replace. It's especially if someone comes in and murders an entire village. Do you want to then go, right, well, I want complete revenge then. I want to come in and murder one of your villages.
Yeah.
Is that even the right way? Is that the morally way to sort it out?
It's a fair point, because I don't see any answer to it. Unfortunately, particularly in an Israel situation, you have to be seen to do something. Otherwise, your political situation is up for discussion, isn't it? Because it's a democracy.
Oh yeah, the people won't like it, but then you've got other countries and the perception of your country.
Yeah,
and
you're weak.
Are you then is a weakness? Are you gone soft? Oh well, they didn't do something this time, so tell you what we'll do it again. You've got to, if you're feeling bullied, you've got to bully back sometimes, haven't you?
Yeah,
you can't always take the high ground's not always the high ground, is it?
I suppose that what we're trying to do on this one, especially when it comes to things like the news, is really observe how the interviewers pose the questions and really listen to the language, and you'll find that these interviewers are despicable people.
Oh, I feel like they're trying to get to a certain response or phrase or soundbite. It's not necessarily about the the debate, like we're having now, what is is even possible. They're trying to get them to say something, and then later on they'll play that clip. Say, oh, in an interview with so and so, he said. So
out of context,
I'm
edited.
I'm not sure that the question might sound honourable, but I don't think the intention is. I'm not convinced, especially when, like you say, you see it replay later, completely out of context, and cut. So, but we have to, we've only got this segment, so yeah. But if you didn't see the lead up to that, you don't know all of the other stuff. Then that they protested to asking that question, and you forced them into an answer. You don't see that bit.
And if we don't like your answer because you're giving a really good answer being interviewed, we suddenly we'll have to leave it there.
Oh, that. Yeah. So we have to anyway. Yeah, we'll have to go to a break.
Yeah.
Well, we'll pick this back up in a couple of minutes. Or we need to break for the news and the weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my rant over. For what day is it today? Officially or unofficially?
This one will be lightly Tuesday.
Oh, it's a Tuesday today. Clocks have changed.
Lightly Tuesday. Aye. Clocks went back.
Aye.
Clocks went back. We need to have a debate about that. That was supposed to finish by now. I think Europe was going to stop doing it either this year or next.
That's right.
And do we need to do it anymore? I don't think so. Something to do with cows and farms. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Next one up. It's going to be all about protests and protesting. And I'm going to try and steer away from any specifics. I just want to cover the psychology of it. And, would you and why wouldn't you? And what do you think of them? And what's your perception of them? So that one will be out on Thursday. So ready your questions and your thoughts and your comments. Best way to help the channel, if you enjoyed this little chat, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to see some more. But until the next one, take care.